Hello, it's Pauline from PQW again. We're up to episode 4 in the Exquisite Quilt program. So I'm delighted to present to you in this class how to draw your feathers. Don't be afraid of them. They're really very easy to do. So you know it's the QISS program where quilting is so simple. We know you can do it. It's very, very easy. So last episode I introduced you to the dot to dot. These were where we drew a lot of curved shapes. There's 5 templates in here and we've still got other designs to draw from this set, but we're going to leave that to another episode. Today we're going to feature the feather set, this set of templates here. In here we have 3 great templates, because we want to introduce you to different sizes of different shapes. So you can see here we've got lots of different sizes, but they're basically the same curve here. And then we've introduced you to some of these, which we'll use in another episode, but not today, but we're going to use this set. And we're going to use the more plumper feathers to draw up some great designs. And then later down the track, we'll introduce you to some more elongated feathers. So we're going to make it simple for you. I'm going to draw on paper because I know it's very hard under the camera to draw on the fabric for you to be able to see the line. And I don't want to press too hard on the fabric when I use the Bohin fabric marking pencil because I wouldn't be able to wash it out. So we're going to do all the drawing of the feathers on paper, which I would suggest you do before you start drawing onto the fabric, because I want you to learn how to get those shapes nested in against each other perfectly. So we're going to work with, I've got my papers drawn up here. We're going to work with block A1, which is cut 10 by 11, and you can see from your cutting chart where we've got A1. So this is the one that we're going to work on. This is going to be a feather block. We've got my 10 by 11 inch drawn on the paper, and I've put the 1/2 inch trim and seam allowance onto the paper, as you would be doing exactly onto your fabric. We're then going to work with E4. So E4 is coming from our sheet, and we can see that it is cut 7 by 11. So we'll cut that. And then we're going to work on D2, where you can see that one is also on your sheet, 5 by 11. So once we get started, it'll make it very easy, and hopefully you can comprehend how to draw these feathers. When I did my first quilt, I've already drawn my designs up, and I write all over the paper sheet, and this is a great way to practice. So the first thing we're going to do is draw the spine. Now, if you have trouble getting that nice curve, and you're a little bit scared about how to draw it, may I suggest that you use this shape template from your dot to dot, because there is a great shape for the spine for your feathers. That really makes it easy. You know, you might only want to do a spine, you might want to draw from here to here to get a shorter spine. You might want to draw from here back this way to get a different shape. But if you don't feel that you can draw that spine nicely, use this template. And this is where you can see that you can interact the templates together that we've designed up for you. So I'm going to start with the A1 block. Now I'm going to draw this, as I said, onto the paper, and I'm going to use a black Sharpie so that you can see the line, because I did get the message that it was hard to see the dot to dots when I drew it with a normal pencil. So we're going to do it a lot darker for you in this episode so you can see where the feathers are going to go. So if I had practice on my paper like I have here, and you want to do it again, or if you want to transfer this to your fabric, you can use some of these lines down through here as a guide, which I'm going to show you how I've done this. this is where the end of my spine is coming to, and I'm just going to put a little dot. Then I could dot through the paper, and I could be dotting with my fabric marking pencil, the Bohin pencil. These dots I could be marking directly onto my fabric. So that'll be able to replicate that shape that you've already drawn up on paper. So do you understand what I'm saying? If this was my fabric square, I've drawn my 1/2 inch line. I can put my paper on here. I would use the Bohin fabric marking pencil, and I would mark the dots through here onto my fabric so that I know where that spine's going to go. Okay, so that's how I would transfer my design, so I've got a reference. So now you can start right at the outside line, because the feather can come, the spine can come right through, as in like this. Now I've got too pointy a curve here, so I want to come back and re-establish that. And of course, if you're drawing this with pencil, you're going to be able to erase that. I'm going to now find my feather template, the one I want to use, which is, we're going to use this shape. Okay, so look at the shape. This is the one we're going to use. And we're just going to start drawing from the bottom. Now remember, this inside line is going to be basically your stitching line. So when you draw your feathers, you don't want to draw your feather too close down towards the bottom. You want to have a little bit of space. So we'll start with this one. And I've come up about, from this line here up, I've come up about 1/2 inch. And I'll twist that around, and I'm going to draw this shape. So there's the first part of the feather. Now we'll see if this bigger one is going to fit in, but it's not, so I'm going to come back. Now I hope this can pick up really closely for you, but what I'm doing is putting this part of the shape of that feather against the previous line I've drawn. And now we're going to start drawing from where the template shape hits the pencil line that I've drawn. Then we're coming around to this pencil line. So I didn't need to draw down here because that was already drawn. I didn't need to draw down here because that was already drawn. Now we'll see if we can fit another one in. But if I fit that shape in there like I want to, it's too close to this side line. So I'm coming back and putting the same shape in. Using the same shape so that the curve fits to itself. Start drawing where the template meets the line and around to the line. You can see we're starting to get that shape. Now we can put a bigger one in. Just fit it, nest it all in there. Curve it around so the curve fits, but I still feel I'm a bit close, so I'm going to pull the template back a little bit. This is where you can make adjustments. So now I'm just going to shade in with this pencil. This is where the template is meeting the line. There's a lot of template hanging over here. That area there, I don't want to draw that part. All I want to draw is from where the template meets the line. Now I'm going to stop there. I'm going to twist the template around. I'm lining up this line here. And I'm going to draw back down to that spine. So that gives me a little bit more elongation. We'll get rid of this area here. Now we'll draw, we can fit a bigger one in here now. Same thing, my template is hanging over my previous line. I've got a lot of area here, but I've got this curve meeting. And I'm going to draw around to here stop, twist your template, because what I want to do is make this come down quite sharp down into this area to give that shape. So see now how that's very elongated. So don't be afraid to twist and turn the templates as you work with them. So now what I'm doing is lining up where the template meets the line. But if you could see, if I drew this around here now, you can see, and you can see that it's not a nice shape, it's too thick here. I'm going to leave that pencil line there, and I'm now going to draw with the black pen so I can show you how I can change the shape. So we're going to start where the template meets the line. I'm going to draw to there. I'm going to turn the template around and continue drawing down till I get to that spine. So you can see here is my previous pencil line, which made it too thick in this area. So we'll get rid of that. And this is the nice things, if you're drawing onto your fabric with the right pencil, you'll be able to erase it off your fabric and you won't have a mess left there. So let's put another one in here. I want this one to sit around more, so I'm going to draw with pencil so you can see what I'm doing. There's that odd shape. Now I'll come back and draw it the way I want it. So from where the template meets the line, around, stop, turn your template, around. Let's just get that curve lined up. And keep drawing. So I've got a little bit of a dip there, so if I was using the pencil I'd be able to get that as a nice line. As you can see how that's now forming. We'll get rid of the pencil lines. So you can see how we're now getting that nice feather. So now I'm going to put a smaller one, a much smaller one in here. And there we are, finished that side. So now we'll flip back and we'll come back the other side. So we could start with a different size. We can start it down a little bit lower. So I've got the inside edge of that template up against the spine. And draw. We'll fit this one in here. Draw. Now I might like to put a little small one in here. Line that up and come around. Now we could put a bigger shape in. Won't do it too big. So you can, this is where the template is meeting the previous line, but if I drew that it's not a nice shape. So we're going to adjust, bring it back down in here a bit. Come around, turn the template, and this is why drawing it onto paper first, you're going to get an idea of how the shape's going to work on your fabric. See now that just nests in there nicely. We can do another shape. Put this one in, around, stop, elongate it down. Now we can put a proper big shape in here. Twist it around, around, stop, twist it around. And there we've got a nice shape happening. Put this one in. Around to there, stop, twist it. You can see how it's all starting to form. Now the whole shape is going to fit there. And it's just amazing, every time you draw feathers you're going to get a totally different look, and I think you'll be quite delighted with what you achieve. Get the bigger shape in here, where this comes around, stop, twist it around and come back. So there's one feather. So now we can build up in here, and this is where we can use these parts. That's what they're for, is to fill in the top. So I'll just pull this down a little bit and just put from there to there in. And you can see how that's now filled in that. This is where we drew the original spine. If this was on my fabric, I'd get the eraser, erase that out. Now, if you're happy with that, you could put it onto your fabric. Like we could do another one on this side. We could do another curve, but that's too sharp a curve. And then we could fill in up this side. Fill in with little ones coming up around. Pop another one in here. So it's just working with your feather shapes to see how they'll fit in to where you want them to go. Twist this one right around, come around to here, stop, twist the template right around to bring it right down into a sharp. See how we've twisted that? Now we can fit a bigger one in here. Fill out a bit more space. Stop. Bring it down to that spine. Now I really need to reshape this. I would erase all of that out. If I was on fabric, you could easily erase. So we could fit these in nicely to fill in all of those spaces. So this is just doing a double feather on this block to fill it in nicely. But we'll learn a lot about fill-ins and that as we work through the program. We've got lots and lots and lots to share with you. And I would hope and I would imagine that everybody's blocks are going to be ever so different to each other. There's no rules with this. It's just finding what works for you, as I always say. Don't think you're doing something wrong if it doesn't look like mine, and mine's looking quite messy drawing it with this pen, but I wanted you to be able to see it around. It's getting a bit close to the edge. So remember, we've got rid of all of this ugly bit here. So I'm just having to put some little tiny ones in here. Otherwise I'm going to be too close to the edge. But little tiny feathers look fantastic. Now I can put a bigger one in. And they've been designed so that all the curves will fit together. Put another one in here. Now I can put a bigger one in. And the hardest thing about feathers is actually drawing them onto the fabric. The easiest part is actually the quilting. So there we have one feather drawn up for you. I'm going to quickly draw another one for you, just to give you an idea of the bigger shapes, how good they can look. There we go. So there we have the feather up there. But remember, this is a bit of a mistake through here. We can put our little top on them up here. And there's the little top. So there's the first one done for you. Now we'll do a little more plumper one. I'm just going to draw it here. I'm not going to have the size, but I just want to show you how to use this to draw a different set of feathers. So let's do a spine. Then we'll start at the bottom. We'll start with a big shape. Draw that one. We might put a smaller one in here. We'll put another big one in. And I don't know if you can see, but I'm sitting the curve back to the spine exactly. Now I can come up here with a bigger one. But once again, my template is, this part here is coming over the spine. Not going to worry about that. So long as where the template meets that curve, I draw around, I'll stop, I'll twist the template to bring it right back down here to the spine. So you can see where that hung over, I don't need that bit. But the bigger feathers are really fun to draw. They're really very, very, very simple. That may be the way you want to start. Now we'll put a big one in here. I want to twist it around a bit till it comes back down to this spine. Oops. Now I've got an ugly shape there, so this is where you could come back with one of the more elongated shapes to fit it in to that area there. We can come back this side, start it down this end. So can you see where my template's hanging over the spine? But I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to draw to there, turn it around and come back down. So you can see where that hung over. Now I could put a smaller one in here. Different size. Bigger one here. So long as that previous curve lines up with the next curve that you're drawing, you'll get those perfect feather shapes. But when we start stitching them and that, we'll show you a lot of other little tricks where you can change the look of your feathers depending how they're looking when you're stitching. Now I'm going to come back with one of these and pop in another one of these shapes up here. Then I'll come back with this shape. And fit that in. So you can see now I'm not happy with this shape here, so if it was on my fabric I would erase that and re-establish that into a better look. And it may be simply that I'd put the template back on here. Which one did I use? This one. And I may just bring this line. I can't find the right line that I want to use. There we go. I may bring this one back down into here. So I would get rid of that line. And now you can see that that may be a better shape, and I may reshape these a little bit back down to here. So there's lots of things we can do to change that shape, and I could now fit a better shape in here. But we'll work through it with you, practice drawing on your paper, and we'll get much better. Next episode we'll go over some more feathers and we'll go over some more dot to dots to make that more clearer for you of how you can draw brilliant, brilliant designs so that when we quilt them, just get rid of all of this, so when we quilt them, you're going to have beautiful feather shapes. So here we've done a double, and you can see, hopefully you can see here, I've put a lot of the same size up here to fill in. But these are all different. These are some long ones, these are some small ones. Here we've drawn using the plump template set. We've started with really small ones here. We've come up, but we've come back and we've filled in because it looked a little bit too spacious. So these are the sort of things that you're going to learn to do. And I know you're going to quilt these feathers perfectly, but you need to practice drawing them because that is the biggest challenge. But learn how to use the templates properly. So from now till our next episode, practice. Send us some photos of the templates, the feather designs that you've drawn onto the paper, so that I can let you know that you're now ready to put them onto your fabric. So till we meet next time, get all your tools together, practice drawing, and we'll see you in episode 5 very, very soon. So bye for now.